Devil's Tower National Monument. Devil's Tower is an 867-foot butte in northeastern Wyoming on the edge of the Black Hills region. It is a very distinct natural landmark on the northern Great Plains. Its beautiful igneous rock columns are the tallest of their kind and help attract over 400,000 people each year. The tower is surrounded by a river, grasslands, and ponderosa pine forests. The monument is a sacred site for many different northern plains Native American tribes, including the Cheyenne, Lakota, Crow, Shoshone, Kiowa, Sioux, and Arapaho. They have held ceremonies near the tower for thousands of years and have their own oral histories about it. Some things their histories tend to have in common are the rock being a place where bears live, the columns on the side of the rock being from bear claw marks, people being turned into bears, and a great spirit making the rock grow upward. Devil's Tower became the first national monument in 1906 when President Theodore Roosevelt broadened the use of the Antiquities Act. He included both its scientific and cultural significance in order to protect the 1,347 acres that is now Devil's Tower National Monument. The earliest maps of this region named the structure Bear Lodge, until the tower was explored in 1875 by geologist Colonel Richard Irving Dodge when he led a U.S. Geological Survey expedition into the Black Hills. Unfortunately, he mistranslated the Lakota word Wahangsika, meaning bear, for Wakansika, meaning bad god or evil spirit. Dodge's reported name, Devil's Tower, stuck despite being offensive to many Native American tribes. In 2015, the Oglala Lakotas led around 20 tribes to petition the U.S. Board on Geographic Names to legally change the monument's name to Bear Lodge. Their efforts were unsuccessful, so Devil's Tower remains the official government name. Both marine and terrestrial sedimentary rocks were deposited in the Black Hills region during the Permian, Triassic, and Jurassic periods. During the late Cretaceous to Tertiary period, the laramide orogeny resulted in the uplift of the Black Hills, onset of erosion, and emplacement of an igneous intrusion. Geologists have not come to a conclusion about what type of intrusion formed the tower. The four leading theories are that it was either a stalk, laccolith, volcanic plug, or Mare diatreme. Regional uplift during the late Tertiary and Quaternary periods, followed by erosion by the Belle Fourche River, formed the current topography. While it formed around 50 million years ago, the tower was exposed between 5 to 10 million years ago due to erosion. The unique appearance of the sides of the tower formed during a process called columnar jointing. When the molten rock that formed the tower was cooling, it contracted and causes cracks to radiate from stress points, forming hexagon shapes. Devil's Tower is not the only place where this occurs, but its columns are the largest in the world. They are hundreds of feet tall and around 10 feet in width. William Rogers and Willard Ripley climbed to the top of the tower using a stake ladder in 1893, parts of which remain visible from site trails. In 1937, the first successful rock climb using mountaineering techniques was completed. Then, in 1941, a man named George Hopkins parachuted onto the top of the tower, prompting Jack Durrance to lead a group to the top to rescue him. Today, people travel from all over the world to climb the tower, which is very popular for its large columns and vertical cracks. Some Native American tribes do not agree with the recreational climbing and view it as desecrating their sacred land. A compromise was reached with Native representatives creating the June Voluntary Climbing Closure. It encourages climbers not to come during the month of June, a culturally significant time during which many ceremonies are held. The voluntary closure has been successful and helps promote understanding and encourage respect for tribal culture. Rock that forms the tower is classified as phonolite porphyry, a fine-grained igneous rock comprised primarily of feldspar. A porphyry is a rock with coarse crystals surrounded by fine-grained material. The tower's rock is made of medium greenish-gray rock that contains large white feldspar crystals and small dark green pyroxene crystals. The oldest rocks visible at Devil's Tower make up the Spearfish Formation and were deposited during the Triassic period in a shallow inland sea that covered much of the central and western United States. The red sandstone and maroon siltstone with interbedded shale gets its color from the oxidation of iron-rich minerals. Next, the Gypsum Springs Formation was formed as mineral-rich water evaporated, leaving behind deposits of gypsum. The next three members make up the Sundance Formation. The Stockdale Beaver member gray-green shales interbedded with sandstones, limestones, and thin beds of red mudstone were formed from clay deposits in deep marine environments during the Jurassic period when seas periodically retreated and returned. The Hulett sandstone and lac members are yellow, fine-grained sandstones that originated from sand deposited on an ancient beach. Devil's Tower gets an average of 19 inches of rain per year compared to an annual U.S. average of 38 inches. Their annual average snowfall is 62 inches, and they have a summer high of 83 degrees Fahrenheit and a winter low of 12 degrees Fahrenheit. Small folds in the sedimentary strata around the tower are superimposed on a large dome that has collapsed to form a shallow structural basin. 3 faults are recognized in Devil's Tower National Monument. 2 of the faults cut the Hulett sandstone west of the main road and the tower. They are near vertical with displacements of less than 3 meters. The third is in the northwestern side of the tower near its base and is a low-angle fault that trends northwesterly and dips 21 degrees to the northeast. Geologic issues that are present include high erosion rates for some of the sedimentary strata and the potential for rockfalls, which may perpetuate landslides down the hill below the cliffs. The southern boundary of the monument is formed by Belle Fourche River. The Keyhole Dam was built 17 miles upstream of Devil's Tower in 1952 and altered seasonal flooding cycles, which inhibited the growth of natural vegetation and changed the characteristics of the river from cold, clear, and fast-moving to warm and sluggish with higher turbidity and suspended soil levels. Outside of the dam, issues face the river, including livestock and mineral development that negatively impact river conditions and water quality. Many active energy and mineral mining operations in the area contribute to water runoff containing heavy metals and the deposition of pollutants from the air. Another problem stems from cattle grazing on the land outside of the park boundaries where they have direct access to the river. The cattle cause erosion to the bank that introduces sediment loading, increasing turbidity and nutrient loads. They also contribute to water contamination by fecal coliform bacteria to the point that the state of Wyoming listed the river as impaired under the Clean Water Act.